Hey, what's up? So I'm going to talk about human body ratios. It's going to be a science and math activity this week. All right. So very important. You should have a measuring tape. If you don't have one, you can use a shoelace. I'm going to read the first paragraph. Human body ratios. There are many fun and surprising facts about the human body. It is only when you look closely, observe, and measure that you can notice these things. So you will need measuring tape. If you do not have one, you can use a piece of string and a ruler. I do not have measuring tape, so I'm going to use just a small piece of string and a ruler. All right? Then you probably a helper. It could be your mom, your dad, or if you have a brother or a sister, you need a piece of scotch tape. If you don't have a piece of scotch tape, you can ask someone to help you out. All right. So this is a fun activity. The first thing to do is take your shoes off and stand straight against the wall. So if I have the wall just right here, you need to stand up. I'm going to put it big. So you need to stand up, and then with your piece of either the measuring tape or the string, you're going to measure your height. Tu vas mesurer ta grandeur. So it's very important that you are very close to the wall. You put your feet just right this, and you stand straight so you can actually measure up all your height. All right? Very important. That's the first step. If you have measuring tape, si tu as une façon facile de mesurer tes choses, it's easy to look at the measuring tape. If you don't, like me, for example, well, I need to use my string, then I have the complete height, and then I take a ruler, and then I start just measuring up my height. It's very important that you start measuring, and then this is 30 centimeters. Well, yeah, so it's 30 centimeters. And then you stop here, and then you add 30 centimeters, 30 plus 30, 60 centimeters, and so on until you have the right height. Okay, let's go back then. So take your shoes off and stand straight against the wall. Ask your helper to measure your height by taking the measuring tape or piece of yarn and measuring from the floor up to your head. So this is your height. Tu dois mesurer ta grandeur. After measuring your height, you need to write in centimeters what is your exact measurement of your height. Mr. Daniel is around 155 centimeters. All right? I don't know exactly what is your height, so it's very important that you measure your height. When you're done, we're going to do the second part. Arm span to height ratio. So the second part is your arm span is the distance between your fingers on each hand when you stretch out your arms. So this is your, this actually is your arm span. So you need to measure from this side to the other side. And that's going to be your arm span. You need to formulate your hypothesis just right here. So your hypothesis, l'hypothèse, c'est une question que tu te poses ou comme, pas une question, excuse-moi, c'est une réponse possible que tu te donnes par rapport à la question. So, how many times can you fit the length of your arm in your total body height? Donc, combien de fois est-ce que tu peux mettre cette longueur à l'intérieur de ta grandeur normale? The question is, la question est, I think my arm length is it equal, similar, longer, or shorter than my total body height? Donc, tu dois me dire si la longueur, elle est égale, similaire, plus longue ou plus courte. Now, test your hypothesis. Tu dois essayer ton hypothèse. Stretch your arms out as far as they can reach. Hold the measuring tape. Piece of yarn between your left hand and fingers. Ask your helper to measure from your left hand fingers to your right hand fingers. If you don't have a helper, take one end of the yarn to the end of the fingers of your right hand and stretch the yarn out to the end of the fingers of your left hand. Si tu n'as pas quelqu'un qui peut t'aider, tu n'as juste qu'à prendre un côté et tu vas essayer de vraiment étendre tous tes bras complètement pour avoir la longueur de tes bras. After that, you're going to write just right here the centimeters for your arm span. Your arm span should be equal or very close to your height. After measuring, how did your arm span compare to your height? Finally, you can answer the question to the hypothesis. My arm span was, is it equal, shorter, or longer? It says circle the answer, but I'm going to ask you to do the following. You're going to highlight here, and then you're going to go up here, and you're going to highlight with the color you want. You cannot circle that specific word. Ensuite, tu continues. We're going to continue. Femur to height ratio. All right. So, formulate your hypothesis. How many times do you think your femur could fit into your height? Donc, combien de fois est-ce que ça peut rentrer? Pas combien de fois exactement, mais on va prendre la même chose qu'ici. So, I think my arm length is equal, similar, longer, or shorter. I think my femur to height ratio is similar, longer, etc. So how you're going to do that? What is the femur? Sit down on a chair. Tu vas t'asseoir sur une chaise. Take your measuring tape or a new piece of yarn and put it over your thigh. Make sure to measure from the hip joint to the edge of the knee. So as you can see here in the picture, that's the femur and that's what I'm asking you to measure. After measuring that part, you're going to write it just right here. Now, test your hypothesis. To compare the length of your femur to your height, you can. Either you can compare both your pieces of yarn by putting them next to each other. Tu peux comparer la longueur de ta grandeur et de ton fémur, soit en mettant les deux mesures une à côté de l'autre, ou tu peux créer un ratio, a ratio. Nous l'avons vu en mathématiques. Le ratio, c'est celui de dire, bon, dans ce cas-ci, la longueur du fémur sur la longueur de ton corps. Alors, si en haut c'est plus grand, ça veut dire que tu peux comparer entre les deux. En haut, tu peux dire que le fémur, est-ce qu'il est plus grand ou plus petit? En bas, est-ce que la grandeur à toi, elle est plus grande ou plus petite? Tu peux faire le ratio. This is how you do the ratio. Je vais te montrer comment faire un ratio. Let's say it's 90 centimeters. 90 cm, tu vas mettre un slash comme celui-ci, excuse-moi, sur les 156 cm que moi je mesure. Alors, ça c'est le fémur, ça c'est la longueur de mon corps, et ça c'est le ratio, 90 sur 156. Alright. My femur was, now you can actually highlight, tu peux mettre de la couleur. Is it equal, shorter, longer than my hypothesis? My hypothesis was correct or incorrect. You should be able to fit the length of your femur 4 times into your height. After measuring, does your femur fit 4 times into your height? Donc, tu devrais normalement avoir la longueur de ton fémur qu'on vient juste de calculer à 4 fois à l'intérieur de ta grandeur. Donc, ça veut dire que ton fémur qui se trouve juste ici, devrait rentrer 4 fois ta longueur. Oh, mais ça me donnait l'erreur de... Il a fait comme une erreur. Il s'est envoyé. Alright. Donc, tu dois faire juste voir si ça rentre 4 fois à l'intérieur de ta grandeur. And finally, finalement, tu vas essayer avec la tête. Head circumference to height ratio. Head circumference is around your head. Formulate your hypothesis. How many times could the circumference of my head fit into my into my height. Donc, combien de fois est-ce que la circonférence de ma tête peut rentrer dans ma grandeur? Donc, la même chose. You take your measuring tape, like this one, then you turn around, and then you can calculate the circumference of your head. Tu vas avoir la circonférence. Alors, si moi je prends ici ce côté, voilà la longueur de ma circonférence. Et maintenant, tu vas la comparer avec la grandeur à toi qu'on a fait au début. You can write your hypothesis. Tu peux écrire ton hypothèse. Rappelle-toi de regarder la deuxième page pour regarder comment écrire l'hypothèse. Place the measuring tape or a new piece of new to your forehead, c'est ce qu'on vient de faire. Bring the tape string all around your head. Make sure it stays straight all around your head. Tu vas écrire la circonférence de ta tête. Now test your hypothesis. You can compare both your pieces of yarn by putting them next to each other. Create a ratio. Tu peux créer le ratio, donc la circonférence, sur ta longueur totale. Et ensuite, tu peux répondre les questions. Il y a des activités extra. C'est à toi de le faire, si tu veux. So, forearm to foot, thumb to hand, nose and ear. You can find volunteers if you want to. Alright? So I hope you're going to have fun and see you next time. This is going to be in classroom.